Make sure to follow along because this video could save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort wasted on things that really aren't going to get you the results that you're looking for. Welcome back to episode 3 of part 2 in a 4-part series that we're going through. We're about halfway through the series, and we're going to be taking you all the way from contemplation of whether or not you want to get in shape, start exercising, what that looks like, taking that leap, all the way to maintaining the results that you're going to get. Now, today's episode is kind of a critical point in this series because we're going to be getting really practical today. We're actually going to flip around and go into my screen in a minute here, and I'm going to show you very practical steps that you can take in order to start getting results. Now, up to this point, we've kind of been building upon a foundation to set you up for long-term success. So I could easily have put this video out as its own video, not done a series. And the problem is a lot of people might implement the steps that I'm about to show you, get the results, but then ultimately lose the results and not keep them long-term. And that's just a statistical fact. 80% of people undo the results that they get when it comes to losing weight. And so we've really spent the first few episodes trying to set you up for success long-term, because I think that's very important, not just to get the results, but to keep them. In this episode, you're going to learn what actually causes weight loss, and this is true for everybody across the board. And so it's foundational. It's important to understand and know because it's true for you just as much as it's true for the next person. Now, you might have different ways that you go about getting there, and that's okay. We've talked about that even in the previous episode about prioritizing your goals, making sure they don't conflict with one another. And everybody's going to be a little bit different in certain ways, but the key factors that have to be true in order for you to lose weight are true for every person. And so this episode is going to be foundational in creating your own personalized plan, having a system in place that's going to work for you and the results that you want to get. And your plan itself is going to be customized to you. It's going to be different than the next person's. But in order to get results from it, you have to make sure that these few things are true about your plan, or it just won't work. Another video that might be worth watching prior to going through these steps is one that I just put out called Will You Keep Weight Off or Gain It Back? Because it's going to help you to think through going about this in the correct way, just like we've been doing in each of the videos prior to this one, to make sure that you're going to set yourself up for long-term success. So that's another one you could check out. It's not part of the series, but I'll link to it below if you're interested in watching that one as well. Last of all, by the end of this video, you're going to understand how to lose weight and reach your goals without being reliant on any kind of diet or exercise program or any kind of weight loss supplement or any of that stuff. It's not that you can't still utilize those things if you would like, but you're not going to be looking to them as this is the solution, this is how weight loss happens, because you're going to understand how weight loss happens by the end of this video, and you'll know how to use some of those things to get the results you want, but not be reliant on them. And going back to the last episode, you'll also be able to see which ones don't really align with your big picture goals and not really waste your time with them. So make sure to follow along because this video could save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort wasted on things that really aren't going to get you the results that you're looking for. Well, I've got a lot to deliver on, so let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna flip around and go into my screen right now. All right, welcome to my screen. We're gonna start by going to something called Eat This Much, and I will link to it in the description below. I'm not affiliated with this website in any way, but everything we're gonna be doing today is all completely free anyways. So we're gonna go ahead and start by signing up, and there's a reason we wanna do this. It's gonna allow us to do a few things that we wouldn't be able to otherwise, but it is all free, like I said. So go ahead and sign up, just create an account. Creating an account is also going to save everything in here for you, so you don't have to try to remember everything you did or screenshot it. It's all going to be saved into the system, and you'll be able to come right back at any time. Send once a week email with meal ideas could be helpful, but you don't have to do that if you don't want. So it's up to you. Create account. Okay, now we're going to decide what we want our diet to look like, what we want to eat. Now, notice this is not saying that, hey, this one is the best for losing weight, or hey, this is going to be the most ideal for losing weight. You can choose any of these options, including this one, is going to help you lose weight if the thing that we're going to be talking about is present, the thing that actually causes weight loss. And if it's not present, then none of these are going to ultimately help you lose weight. So it really doesn't matter There's a lot in the health and fitness industry that tries to, glorify each one of these things and make it like this is the way to lose weight. We're going to talk about it, but you can pick any one. The idea is that you're picking the thing that is the most normal to your diet. So just right now, how do you eat and how do you enjoy eating? If this isn't how you eat regularly, then doing it just to lose weight is going to not be a long-term solution for you, because you're only going to do it for the time that you lose the weight. Then you're going to go back to whatever you're doing before, and you're going to undo all that progress. So you need to pick something that kind of aligns with what you're currently doing. What's your preference? That's all it is. What's your preference? So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one because that's just my preference. And then we're going to go ahead and pick if there's any things that are excluded. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. General goal or exact goal. You could put in if you have an exact goal of the amount of weight you want to lose, or you can just pick a general if it's lose fat, maintain weight, or build muscle. Now, a lot of times people want to lose fat and build muscle as well. I get that. My recommendation is start with the fat loss first and then build muscle afterwards. But you can obviously also put an exact goal if you have a specific goal you want to get to. So we'll go ahead and do that for this. And then you're going to be able to pick how much you want to lose per week as well. Now, it's not going to let you do more than 2 pounds per week, which is a good thing, because anything beyond 2 pounds per week is getting unhealthy. It also is not as maintainable. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. But the slower you go, the more likely you will be to maintain the results long term. So if you do half a pound per week, it's going to be more maintainable than doing 1 pound per week. If you do 2 pounds per week, it's going to be tougher than doing 1 pound per week. So just keeping that in mind, I know that people want fast results. That's a big thing that's marketed in the health and fitness industry, but I am glad that they limit it here to 2 pounds per week. So you can still do that and be in a healthy range, but don't get discouraged because you feel like, oh, I want to lose faster than that. We're going to talk about why that's not a good idea in a minute. Now, go ahead and put all this stuff in. Now, you get to here, the body fat amount, low, medium, high. It even tells you right here, it's not a big deal if you don't know. Okay, so it's not really a big issue. Just kind of pick which one you think and move on. Activity level, however, is important. So this is going to be something you want to get right. Are you very lightly doing exercise? If you're sedentary, obviously, you're going to pick the top one as well. So if you're just not doing much, not moving much, not doing intentional exercise several times a week, you're going to go with this first option. Now, if you're active and you're working out 3 to 4 times per week, you're consistently exercising, go ahead and pick the second option. Or maybe if you have a job that's like very active construction, something like that, even if you're not doing intentional exercise, but you're very, very active throughout the week, go ahead and still pick this. Now, if you're like, well, I'm on my feet a lot and, I'm a librarian and I have to get up and walk over to the books and do that. That's not really what we're talking about. You'd still want to probably pick this just to be safe, because we want to make sure we're getting an accurate amount of calories that you should be consuming each day. This is going to be more either intentional exercise or a very intense job that, you're on your feet doing things like lifting and using muscles and stuff like that throughout the day. Active daily, frequent exercise. Again, that's going to be if you're a very active job or if you're exercising every single day, or a combination. Maybe you have a very active job and you're exercising a few times a week. Very athletic. If you're an athlete, you're playing sports, you got practices throughout the week, and you're just in general moving a lot, you're exercising as well. And then extremely athletic is you're doing all the above. You've got a very active job, you're exercising regularly, and you also are maybe on a sports team or doing some sort of activity as well. So pick one of those options that is the most accurate. Again, it's kind of just deciding what seems the most accurate for you. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one for myself. And then we're going to go ahead and continue. Now, this is one of the reasons we created an account, because the macro breakdown here, we want to be able to actually edit that. You can't do that if you don't create an account. So we created an account. We'll be able to edit these numbers in a second here. But I want to just tell you that it doesn't really matter for weight loss what the breakdown is here. You're still going to lose weight, just like we talked about with the diet side of things. Even if these are, if it's higher carb, higher fat, whatever it is, higher protein, doesn't matter as far as the weight loss goes. You will still lose the weight. However, there are a lot of benefits to having a higher protein diet. One of which is it is going to help you feel more full. If you get higher protein, you're also going to help build muscle or retain muscles. So we don't want to be burning muscle ideally, we want to be burning fat. And so keeping your protein intake high will ensure that you're not going to be burning your muscle, you're going to be burning that fat instead. So a higher protein diet, it has a lot of benefits. I would recommend doing 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight down to 0.7 per pound of your goal body weight. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like now. Oh, whoops, we meant to, can I go back? Okay, good news. If you go too far, you can go back. So we want to edit this. Okay, so when we get to here, we can edit all this, including the calories. So if I get here and I'm like, you know what, I actually feel like I'm probably going to be a little bit hungry at 1500. Maybe I want to increase. I want to go up to 1700 or something like that. I could still change that from here as well. So that's an option, just so you know. We can tweak that, and it'll tweak these as well. Now, what we can do here is put ranges for each of these. And I like that they make it ranges because at the end of the day, like I said, it's not going to make a big difference from the weight loss side, but it will make a difference because they're going to be able to suggest some meals to you. They're going to create you a meal plan. And so this, essentially why this is important here in this website is because it's going to dictate what those meals have based on the ranges you set. So I like to just personally take the fats and carbs and make it any range that they want, because I don't really care. Like, they can give me meals with high carb, they can give me meals with high fat. As long as I'm hitting my calories, that's what's important. So I will allow them to suggest any meals that have any number of carbs or fats in them. So that's why I do that. However, on the protein, I want to make sure that I'm getting my minimum amount of protein in per day. And I don't really want to exceed my protein or go too high on my protein either, because that can start having some negative effects as well. So we want to kind of be in a range. And I'm going to show you what that range was now that I mentioned. So if you bring up a calculator, obviously you have your goal weight. So for mine, it was 170. So if that's my goal weight, I can either aim for 170 grams of protein. That's 1 gram per pound of my goal body weight. Or 0.7 would be on the lower side. Oops. So I'm going to multiply by 0.7 to see my range. Okay, so 120 is the low end. So I'm going to aim for between 120 up to 170. And that's going to be the range that I set for myself. And if it's a little bit off, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but right around there. Okay, perfect. Now it's going to give me meals with those ranges. You could change the fiber as well if you'd like. Limit daily sodium, you can click on limit daily cholesterol. So those are other options as well. We're just going to move forward though. All right, now they give you an option to start a 14-day free trial to just use all the premium features included, but we don't have to do that. We can skip that for now. I guess I'll make my screen bigger again. And voila, now we can continue, and it's going to take us here to this planner. You can read all this on your own time if you'd like. And now within here, we have meal recommendations, which can be helpful. If you eat the meals they suggest, you will hit the calories that are your goal. So this is the totals for the day if I ate those meals. I'm going to hit 1,700 calories. That's my target. I'm going to have this many carbs, this much fat, and I'll be at 144 grams of protein, which is right in the range that I'm looking for. So that's perfect. And it'll even tell you the breakdown of the fiber, sodium, cholesterol as well. So you can get a full detailed reading as well of everything that's included, which is nice. You can also swap out any of these meals if you'd like, and you can see their whole chart here. They've got an entire library of all different meals. And so again, this isn't what it's all about. This isn't the most important part. The biggest and most important part is this number right here that you get your calorie target. If you hit that, you will get the results. You will lose the amount of weight that you're looking to lose. Now, this stuff can all be helpful. You can use it. Maybe you're the type of person that's like, I just need a structured plan. Tell me exactly what to do, what I can eat, what I can't eat, all that. Okay, if that's you, here you go. It's right here. Do these meals, eat these meals, and you will hit your calorie goal and you will lose the weight. Bottom line. That is how it works. So it's not about, well, this is a high carb or this is this and this. That can affect things like appetite potentially. You may find that, and that's why I said higher protein is going to be better. The higher protein you get, the more full you're going to feel. It's going to make it easier, but at the end of the day, if you hit the calories, you're going to get the results. So if you want to make it easier, my recommendation is, rather than getting so fixated on, the insulin levels and high carb versus this and that, I would say get your protein in these ranges that we mentioned. It's going to help with the appetite. If you're hitting those numbers on your protein, that means you're going to get lean sources of protein in order to hit those numbers, because they're pretty high numbers, and you're going to feel full. It's going to leave you room in calories to have a few other things if you're getting your protein from lean sources. If your protein's coming from foods with very high fat and very high carbs as well, by the end of the day, you're going to be out of calories and you're just not going to have much left over for things that you enjoy as much. But if you can do that and then just slow it down, ultimately, if you're really struggling, if you're like, I'm so hungry, I just need more calories, well, then just increase this slightly. Showed you how you can edit it. You could still go back in. It's not too late. You can edit the calories and just increase it a little bit. As long as you're still in a deficit, making something that's going to be maintainable for you long term that you can stick with and isn't as difficult to do in the process of losing weight is going to be better than starving, doing a really aggressive, I'm losing 3 pounds per week, but I'm barely eating any food, and it's going to very much limit what you can have. And so my recommendation is simply play around with this, figure out, hey, what's a calorie amount that works well for me in my life that I can eat and feel comfortable eating. I'm not starving at the end of the day. I'm still in a deficit and I'm still losing weight. And then be patient and let yourself actually see the results come. Now, maybe you would say, hey, I don't want to have to cook all this stuff, and I've already got meals that I enjoy and like to eat. But the problem is I have no clue how many calories there are in them, and I don't know what I eat in a day. And I'd love to, hit this number, but I have no clue, but I'm not going to, do all this stuff. Okay, I get that. Well, there's another step then that we're going to have to take. We'll just go open another tab here. We're going to go to MyFitnessPal. Now, maybe you've used this app before, you've got an account set up already. If so, that's great. We're probably going to have to adjust a couple things though. So as you'll notice already, I've got the wrong calories in here. And so that could be true for you as well. MyFitnessPal tends to estimate a little off on the calories. And so we're going to need to make an adjustment here. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Once you get your calories in, using the app is pretty simple, as long as we just focus on a couple main things and don't get overwhelmed by all the different options here. Now, whether you just set up an account for the first time or you already had one, chances are this number is not going to be perfect because, like I said, MyFitnessPal doesn't seem to quite get it right when it comes to this. And so we're going to go to goals and we're going to have to edit this. And you can just simply edit the percentages here. They're not going to let you change by grams unless you have a premium membership, which is a bummer. They used to allow that, but we can still try to get it as close as we can to what we have over here. So we do want to change the calories. That's the most important. So we're going to change that first. And whoops, not 2000. And again, it doesn't matter if you want to go 1750, whatever you want to do, just getting it close is going to be good enough. You're still going to be in a deficit at the end of the day, and that's what's important. And so 153, that's pretty good on the protein. And again, I don't really care from the fats and the carb side. Let's say if it was off, maybe it was high and this was, let's say we're looking at something like that. All I have to do is just obviously adjust the percentages to get it in a range I like. And then this has to still just become obviously 100%. So, if I get this down, 153 sounds good to me. And then I just need to move these up a little. For me, I like the fats, so I'm gonna just keep increasing that a little bit more and maybe even more. I'm gonna down the carbs slightly. That looks better. Okay, and then I can save changes, and then it's going to update now my goals. Now, as far as tracking in MyFitnessPal, I want you to keep it really simple. Again, don't get overwhelmed by all the other tools they have in here. The main reason that this is helpful is just simply to track your calories. So all you're gonna do is go to food. And again, I know it's gonna be a little different on the phone, but it's pretty similar. Add food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. When I go to add food, I can just type in literally anything, okay? It's gonna bring up that food item. Be as specific as possible. It has most things in here, okay? Now, if it doesn't have it, you can try to find something that's close, or you also can add your own meals. You can add your own recipes. So you can add the individual ingredients of things if you figure out what they are. And so that can be helpful. It will save them in there. You could create foods even. So, you know, if you've got a specific type of apple and it doesn't have it in there, you can put that apple in if you know what the calories are by looking it up online or something. So you can add your own, and they're going to be in here permanently. So you'll be able to go in and just see them, and then you can quickly add them as you eat them. Recents, it's very helpful. Once you look something up once, it shows up in your recents. So if you eat something regularly, you can quickly add it. You don't have to every single time search for it again. So this is very helpful. Obviously, you got your quantity here, and then you've got the serving size. Pretty simple to use. I know it's a little tedious. It's like, well, I have to enter the food in. I got to search for it. What if I'm making a meal from scratch? Yes, you're going to have to measure stuff the first time. You're going to have to get your measuring cups out. You're going to have to get your little food scale out. And you're going to have to measure what the ingredients are. But guess what? Once you do it once, if you keep track of it, enter it in, create a meal out of it, it's done. You've done it. And now you can just quickly add it the next time. Okay? So it takes a little bit of time. I get it. It's not that difficult at the end of the day. It's worth the 5 minutes a day of tracking your meals and your calories to lose the weight. Because if you're hitting the right calorie goals, you're going to be able to lose the weight. And additionally, when you're tracking like this, it is going to allow you a little bit more freedom and leeway, because get towards the end of the day and you've got 500 calories left. Guess what? You can have a little dessert. You can splurge a little bit, and you're still going to lose the weight. And so that's the great part. That's the part that I think people are really shocked by when they do this, is that I can still eat things I like and lose weight. You could eat gummy bears all day, and as long as you ate the amount of gummy bears that fit into your calorie goal, you'd still lose weight. You'd be very unhealthy, obviously. It would not be a good idea. You'd probably feel disgusting and terrible. But I'm just trying to explain to you that you can still lose the weight while eating things that are labeled, unhealthy, as long as you're hitting your calorie goals. Yes, we want to make sure we're getting a good amount of the foods that fill us. We want to make sure we're getting a good amount of the foods that are nutritionally, valuable, that are going to benefit us from an energy standpoint, are going to make us feel better, healthier. But we can still have those other things too in moderation, because you can still lose the weight even while having those things in your diet. Now, that's about it for this video today. Pretty simple stuff. Ultimately, the tools make it a lot easier. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope you will actually use it and see the results that you will get. Do it for a week. Do it for 2 weeks. And you're going to see the results. And I guarantee you're going to be shocked, and you're going to want to keep doing it, because you're going to see that it works. All right. I will see you in the next one.